My teacher tried taking my prosthetic leg off in class because she thought I was faking it. I was in 7th grade when this happened. My name's Tyler, and I'd been wearing a prosthetic since I was 5 after losing my leg in a car accident. By middle school, most people forgot about it. I could run, play sports, do everything normal kids did. The only difference was I had to pop my leg off sometimes when it got uncomfortable. My science teacher, Mrs. Holland, was new that year. She was one of those teachers who thought every kid was trying to get out of work. You know the type. If you asked to use the bathroom, she'd roll her eyes. If you said you felt sick, she'd tell you to suck it up. One Tuesday during class, my leg was bothering me. Sometimes the socket gets sweaty and starts rubbing weird. I asked if I could step outside for a second to adjust it. Mrs. Holland looked at me like I just asked to burn the school down. "What do you need to adjust?" she said real loud so everyone could hear. I got embarrassed and just said my leg was uncomfortable. She walked over to my desk and stared at my legs for like 10 seconds. The whole class was watching now. "Your leg looks fine to me. Sit down." I tried explaining that I had a prosthetic, but she cut me off. "I've heard every excuse in the book. You're not getting out of this quiz." So I sat there for 40 minutes with my leg killing me. After class, I went to the nurse's office and took my leg off to let it air out. The nurse, Mrs. Rodriguez, had been there since I was in kindergarten. She knew my whole situation. The next day during science, same thing happened. My leg was bothering me again. This time I just said I needed to use the restroom. Mrs. Holland said no. 20 minutes later, I asked again. She got mad and said if I asked one more time, she'd send me to the principal. That's when I made a mistake. I told her straight up that I had a prosthetic leg and needed to adjust it. She stared at me for a few seconds, then said the words that still make me mad. "Prove it." The whole class went dead silent. My face got hot. I couldn't believe she just said that in front of everyone. I told her I wasn't proving anything and that she could call the nurse if she didn't believe me. But Mrs. Holland wasn't done. She marched over to my desk and said, "If you really have a fake leg, you won't mind me checking." Before I could say anything, she grabbed my ankle and started pulling on my leg. Hard. I yelled for her to stop, but she kept tugging, trying to see if it would come off. She was pulling at the wrong part, though, yanking on my actual foot instead of the top where it disconnects. Finally, she let go and said, "See? You're lying. That's detention for disrupting my class." I was so embarrassed and mad that I stood up, rolled up my pant leg, and showed her the metal and plastic where my prosthetic connected. The whole class gasped. Mrs. Holland's face went white. I didn't know," she stammered. "I tried to tell you," I said. My voice was shaking. "Twice." She just stood there looking stupid while I grabbed my backpack and walked to the nurse's office. Mrs. Rodriguez was furious when I told her what happened. She immediately called my mom and the principal. Within an hour, my mom was at school having a very loud conversation with Principal Davis. I could hear her yelling from the nurse's office. Words like harassment and lawsuit kept coming up. Mrs. Holland got called to the principal's office next. She was in there for over an hour. When she came out, her eyes were red like she'd been crying. The next day, she wasn't at school, or the day after that. We had a substitute for the rest of the week. Come to find out, Mrs. Holland had been suspended pending an investigation. The school made her write me an apology letter. It was 3 pages long and basically said she was sorry for not listening and for embarrassing me in front of the class. She also had to take some kind of sensitivity training about students with disabilities.